I just remember feeling like, and I think this is true when you talk about metabolic transformation, I felt like a victim of my genetics and my metabolism. Like I would see how other people ate and I could not eat like that, and it just didn't feel fair, you know what I mean? And I just felt like I can't break out of this cycle. And I think for me the change was saying, okay, maybe I have to work twice as hard as Denise or you, and I don't know, like you assume that sometimes, I think, when you struggle with weight, you think it's going to take me twice as much work, and I thought to myself, well, I'm still choosing not to do that work. It's still within my power to change my life. And when I realized that, and I felt like I could be empowered and said, okay, then work twice as hard, then do twice as much as everyone else, stop crying, you know what I mean? And just realize this is your life, this is what you've been given to work with, and work with it. And so it was I have to say, it was hard work. But you know, if you don't give up, I think that's it. You talk about in your book, you cheat, say you have a little piece of cake or you have a bad meal or something, you think, I've blown it and now I just want to like go nuts. For me, it was like, just don't give up. You fall down, you get up. You fall down, you get up. And if you don't give up, eventually there's going to come a day that you are going to lose the weight. It's the whole despair cycle, right? And
you bring up a good point about genetics. We all can be that different. You could have somebody who's almost genetically a twin to you, same height, weight, demographic, age, everything, and that person may literally need 40 to 50% more calories than you every day. And so like you said, it's not fair. They get to eat so much more. Yes. And that's tough to deal with when people around us can eat that much. A little bit to remember though is that it's a relative issue. You know, even though they get to eat that much more, they feel the same hunger and so forth eating less than you do eating less. And so everybody has to, again, understand there's some uniqueness there. But you're right, it's, you know, being on the low end of that continuum is not the best place to be.
And having the right tools as well to help you get started, and a guideline. And that's what you provide in this book, Dr. Joe. We really are happy to have you here with us. Now you also have, I mentioned, you have before and after pictures and stories in the book. In fact, your co-author of this book, Scott Uloth, is a medical doctor.
Yes.
And actually he came to you a few years ago and he has his own story.
Right. Scott is one of the most intelligent, brightest medical doctors I've ever met. I mean, he was valedictorian of his high school, you know, scored a 98% on his, you know, boards as a medical doctor, just a super hyper-intelligent family practice guy. But yet he really struggled with his own weight. Doctors have a 20-year less life expectancy than the general population because they're under so much stress, they put in so many hours, and out of that, they often end up eating a lot of convenience foods, and they're just not taking care of themselves because they're so busy taking care of others. So he wakes up one day and says, how did I get to 230 pounds? And he started a process of trying to lose weight on his own, went to a big national weight loss chain, was not successful there at all. And so he ends up, you know, across, you know, my desk, and we got busy, we got to work. He lost 62 pounds. And I didn't realize this at the time, but he actually likes writing as well. I had written an edition of this book that, you know, was a little incomplete, and I knew I'd always, you know, try and keep working on that for a publishable, you know, work. But come to find out, he actually liked to write, and so I asked him to join me in this new project.
And have we seen yet the pictures of Scott? There he is, before and after.
And I thought his story added a lot, actually. You know, as a medical doctor, hearing his struggle, and, you know, like he said, he's always going to have to work at it. He just has that kind of body, you know, but he is working at it, and he looks great.
I think most of us, though, have to work at it. Like, I know I don't just eat whatever I want to eat. Like, everything is in balance. Like, I try and you know, monitor what I'm eating. But I mean, I think everybody has to work at it. I don't think, you know, maybe I don't need to lose 60 pounds, but I still need to maintain and work and everything else and make choices. But I wanted to ask you about stress, because I know when I'm stressed out sometimes I want to eat more, or why is it when I'm stressed out maybe I hunger for some junk or something like that? What is that linked to my metabolism?
Well, I actually kind of go back into a little doctor speak on that one, because there's a real reason for that. When we're under stress, our body releases a hormone called cortisol, and that hormone is there to get us ready for the whole fight or flight response. So your body starts dumping energy into the bloodstream. We start releasing glucose in the bloodstream. We start releasing even triglycerides from body fat cells to be converted for that energy, and that heightens that level of activity potential so much that you start getting hungry. Your body wants to replace that. So since most of us under stress, it's not really a physical stress. You're not running away from a bear who's going to eat you. Yeah. But so there's not that release of energy we're using, and so we tend to just get hungry and then start eating more.
What do you tell the person that says, I don't have the motivation to lose the weight.
You definitely have to find some motivation somewhere. Like for Scott, it was his kids, it was his wife, his family. He just felt miserable. So at some point when somebody's going to get serious, you know, they've got to look to something to motivate them, and hopefully it's just that increasing quality of life that sustains it. I know you have to feel so much better now. I mean, I don't know if you can remember how bad you did feel.
Cheryl? Like what was the turning point
know what?
for you?
I wasn't that old, and I was having a lot of health issues already, and that just scared me so bad. I just thought, this isn't supposed to be happening until later in life, you know? And so when I did it, even though it was painful to go to the gym at 9 o'clock after working all day, I would just say, this is life and death. Like, I am saving my life. That's how I felt. It wasn't like to look good or, you know, anything else. It was really, for me, a health issue and life and death. So they've done a study, actually, I've read, of people who've lost a significant amount of weight and kept it off for more than 5 years, which usually if you make that 5-year mark, you're probably going to keep it off. And one of the things is usually you have a catalyst happening in your life, a divorce, a medical diagnosis, a death in your family, something that kind of shocks you out of your life that says now is the time. But I wanted to ask you, what if somebody's watching the show and they're like, okay, I know I need to get on this, I need to get started. What is one thing that they can take away today that they can do to start changing their life? What would you say?
Yeah, I would always start with that mental or psychological aspect. You know, do find that reason. Find something where you can say, as you did when you started your journey, I'm going to do this. Even if I have to work twice as hard as everybody else, I'm going to do this. It's just that important. And then you have to start arming yourself with knowledge. Because again, if you're just a slave to fad diets, they're going to let you down, and you're not going to learn anything at the end of that. You know, you're just going to sink back into some of those old behaviors. So start, you know, giving yourself that education of just understanding nutrition.
So it's not a quick and easy thing.
I wish I could say it was. I would do that instead. Then I'd have the magic pill instead of just the book.
Well, don't they say if you lose just 5% of your body weight, it's a huge health, you know, a load off your body, and it gives huge health benefits. Just 5%, right? Like we're not talking about getting skinny, just even a little bit.
Oh, even when I gain a couple pounds, and I'm very susceptible to that as somebody who, I was overweight at one point in my life through my childhood, and I have those genetics. Everybody in my family is overweight. When I lose a couple pounds, I feel so much better. You feel lighter. You know, when you're doing anything, you know, you just feel better doing it.
Are we seeing kids as young as 2 that are having problems, which was traditionally seen as adult problems related to obesity, as young as 2?
Yeah, they've seen irreversible coronary artery damage on kids at 2 years old. And of course, the diabetes, kids born today, 50% of them are predicted to have type 2, very preventable, you know, diabetes.
And even just being fit, you know, even if someone hasn't lost all the weight, but if they're more fit, you know, I find that when I'm working out, I'm not getting colds, hardly like I used to. Like, you just have more energy. Your outlook is so much better, you know?
Yeah, I find it helps my moods too.
Right.
Yes.
Just overall well-being. And I think when you feel better, like even just mentally, you eat less, or you're not like prone to go and do all those kind of destructive sort of things.
Yeah, success begets success for sure. And I wish this wasn't the truth, but our weight or how we feel about ourselves does dictate our moods. And you're exactly right. You know, we can be so much more positive and healthy emotionally, spiritually, if we're taking care of ourselves physically.
Well, Dr. Joe Klemczewski, your book again is The Diet Doc's Guide to Permanent Weight Loss, Secrets to Metabolic Transformation. Where can people find your book?
Our publisher is Harvest House. They can get it on all the major outlets, Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. Hopefully all the Christian bookstores by now have it. So.
All right, well, I want to encourage you, if you are really getting serious, the beginning of a new year, and you're saying, you know what, I don't want to do any more yo-yo roller coaster diets. I want to find something that works for me and stay with it, and like Cheryl, have long-term weight loss. I encourage you to pick up this book by Dr. Joe Klemczewski. And lots of really good practical advice and personal stories in there, which I really enjoy, seeing the before and after and knowing that everyday people can do it and stick with it.